Howdy, howdy, y'all. Welcome to the channel. This is going to be my first recipe, and I'm going to show you how to make a West Virginia version of shepherd's pie. So here's all the ingredients I'm going to put in it, and the seasonings, and you're going to want to use gold potatoes. Now we're going to get these washed up, boiled, and mashed first, and then we're going to work on the meat. Okay, so I picked the 4 largest potatoes in the bag. Now I'm making this for 2. Now we're going to get this boiling, and it's probably going to take a while to boil, probably over 30 minutes, and then we're going to check it. Then we're going to be slicing up the onion. Now, I have a picky eater, all right? So I'm not going to put all these vegetables in it. We're just going to put a lot of onion and a lot of garlic. Okay, now that the potatoes are boiled, we need to peel them. So I usually just use a fork and just peel the skin off that way. Well, it's still hot, but it works. Okay. So that's literally how I usually just peel my potatoes. I know there's easier ways, but that seems fine with me. Alright, so you're going to want to put your milk and butter and some salt and pepper. Then we're going to mash all that together. And then I just keep tasting it to see if I got it just right. Now I have a potato masher. And we're just going to try to mash these down. Oh my god. Okay, so now we need to mix some cheese in with the potatoes, and this is what the potatoes are looking like. You want to get it nice and smooth and get it all nice and seasoned up. Then you're going to want to mix in some cheese and get that melted in the potatoes. And then the rest of this cheese is going to go on top when we put it all together for the oven. We want to get this nice and cheesy. So you just mix it in there until it's smooth and cheesy. And then we can start with the meat. Okay, so now we're going to put in a lot of onion. So I got my onion ready to go, and then I usually just cut it in half. Okay. And then what I like to do, I like to cut it kind of like this all the way, but we leave that alone. You gotta be careful, of course. Don't go all the way across. And then I cut it like that. And then we could just chop it up like this. And then it's little pieces. And I'm putting in a lot of onion because this is the only vegetable that we're adding. So I'm going to use the whole onion. So look at this chopped up. I'm going to add a bunch of garlic. So I always get the big tub of garlic. And I usually do like 2 spoonfuls. Garlic's good for you. Onion's good for you. Okay, so I'm going to cook up the onion a little bit, and then we're going to add the meat. So we just cook the onion down just a little bit. Okay, now that the onions are cooked down a little bit, we're going to add a pound of ground beef. So put that in there. Then we're going to use some seasoned salt. I just eye it. I don't measure nothing. And you're going to want some black pepper. And season that real good. Then you're just going to ground up this beef and brown it. And then we're going to drain the grease. Then after we drain the grease, we're going to turn this into a small gravy. So we're going to add a beef bouillon cube to it. But first we got to brown this up. All right, so now while you're working on your beef gravy, you want to start preheating that oven. I set it to 350. Now we're going to add a little bit of water. This is like 1/3 cup of water. We'll add that. And then a beef bouillon cube. Add that, and then we're going to get that dissolved in here. Now to make the gravy part, because we're going to wait for this to dissolve first, you want to use some all-purpose flour. And you put a little bit of flour and some cold water and mix that together real good until it's nice and smooth. And then once that cube is dissolved, I'm going to add this in here and mix it up real good. And I'll show you guys how I mix in the flour mixture to turn it to a gravy. Okay, so you're going to put in your flour mixture next. But we're going to lower the temperature a little bit. And then make sure you're stirring very frequently when you add this in, because it's going to start thickening. Like as soon as you start adding it. Just stir, 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 stir. All right, now you see how it's already getting thick? That's why we got to keep mixing it up good. You just want a very small gravy, not a lot. This is just to help like bind everything together in the oven. It's a very small beef gravy. Yeah, that's what you want it to look like. All right, so this is the beef mixture that I'll make for my shepherd's pie. All right, now we're going to start the layering process. So go ahead and spread your baking dish. And then we're going to start by adding the beef as the first layer. Because you want a nice thick layer. That's why I'm using a smaller baking dish. I'm going to add the rest of this. Okay. And then we're going to spread that out evenly. Okay. Now, what's funny, y'all? Why my husband and I even got into shepherd's pie in the first place, we were watching random movies on Tubi. And there's a movie called Paranormal Farm. And they were having shepherd's pie. And I was just like, oh, that looks really good. I bet you I can make something like that. And I made it once, and now we basically have it a couple times a month now. So next layer is your cheesy golden potatoes. I probably have like more than enough, but I'm probably going to use up all these potatoes because these golden potatoes are freaking delicious. Now they're going to be sticky though, so just try your best to get it on there and then spread it out evenly. Like I said, I'm going to use all of these potatoes. Okay, and then try to spread that out evenly. Best you can. It's going to be sticky. Oh Lord, now the meat's getting mixed in. That'll be all right. Okay, now that we got all that flattened out on the top, we're going to add some cheese. You can add as much cheese as you want. Always use Colby Jack or Cheddar Jack. Those are my two favorites. But yeah, I really loaded this with potatoes, so I need to be careful not make a mess. But this is going to be some really thick shepherd's pie. That's going to be so good. Try to get all the edges. Oh, and if you guys are wanting my little baking dish, this is Pioneer Woman. Really the perfect size dish for shepherd's pie and lasagna. All right, so that's about as much cheese I'm going to add. Now we're going to put it in the oven and cook it for 30 minutes because you want that top to be nice and brown. All right, y'all, I just took it out of the oven. So when you take it out of the oven, you want to let it sit for like 5 minutes and then you can dig in. But you want it to look nice and brown on top like that. Literally perfect. Didn't even overflow too much in the oven either. It's perfect. All right, y'all. So here's my husband's plate. And here's my plate. Doesn't that look good? Oh my God, that's what the inside of it looks like. Delicious. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know down in the comments if you try out this recipe. Thank you guys.